Good girl. Do I have a door for my heart? And have you found that? That is for you. And what about your heart? Have I found the key to that?
Okay, so there's an offstage shout here. Who wants that?
Oh, I have to draw you close. You want to make out?
Sure.
Got that on film. It's cool.
New advertising.
If I ever do anything.
Right, do I have the key
What
to
kind of
that?
shout do you want?
I want the shout of we need Odysseus because there's a war about to start.
To a call.
A call?
Like, yo! Odysseus!
Odysseus is fine. Do an Odysseus.
It'll be really loud. How loud do you want it?
I want it. Well, it's outside and they're inside, so it doesn't have to be super loud. Yeah. And it's on Carrie's line. Have I found the key to that?
Have I found the key to that?
Odysseus!
A ship. It's not one I know.
Are you expecting news?
I'm always expecting news.
Everyone was talking about it down at the harbor. Helen of Sparta, my married cousin Helen, had run away with Paris of Troy.
I had, written here that Helen walks the perimeter while everyone bustles in the middle. This is, we're all getting ready to go back on a ship and go off to war. So it's also, Odysseus is going to have to pack, so if we could flip one crate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, are we pulling these down?
Are we pulling them down yet? Let's have Odysseus pull them down when it's time to pack. That's fine. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is after this little.
Which is after
the
this.
story of the.
Okay, so I need to leave first, and then you have a story.
But if you guys really want to bustle in, start flipping boxes and putting.
Are we sailors or maids or half and half?
You're gonna be men going off to war.
Okay.
You're
No, that's
mailers.
great. I'm then going afterwards. Got it.
Men going off to war.
Yeah.
So come in, flip boxes, put your scarves in the boxes.
Okay.
General ho-hum, but she's got a monologue over your ho-hum, so don't be too ho-hummy.
And leave one box.
And leave one box, so you can, then when Menelaus had to go away on a trip, the two of them loaded off Paris, the ship, and took as much soul, and they eloped together. So I think you're all going to exit, leaving Odysseus and Eurycleia with one box.
Okay.
And you guys can take all of your stuff up center. So probably the hard part's going to be making this last as long as you need it to.
Like one of us can grab a box and like heavily pass it to another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another, you know.
Yep. And then
We'd
one.
be really bad at our jobs.
So like Emma takes the box and hands it to me.
Yeah, you know.
It'd be super helpful if one of you could flip the downstage center box for Odysseus, so when he walks in, it's just his stuff that needs to go into it.
I can do that.
Yep.
Walk straight to.
Good. Perfect. All right. Go. We're gonna start this speech, and then you guys can bustle.
It's great because we have our clocks.
Matt, what perimeter do you want? Just around this?
Around the circle or around the square? I was gonna take the square, so if you take the circle. Yeah, that'd be great. And I will use the fact that you're there.
Are you guys gonna go Are you gonna go counter to each other?
I'm starting from, well, I don't know where I'm starting from. I'll use whatever,
Why don't
I'll
you-
respond to whatever she does.
All right. So Gina, walk one way, and Carrie will go the other.
Yeah.
I will determine based
That's probably a good thought. All right, here we go. And sailors, since you're dudes now, wasn't that nice? You just became dudes all of a sudden. And when Helen walks by, let's really pay Helen a lot of mind. Okay? Don't touch her because that gets you into trouble. But you could definitely notice. All right, are we ready? Let's go back to Sexy Town for a moment.
It's not one I know.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, not one I know. That's fine.
A ship. It's not one I know.
Are you expecting news?
I'm always expecting news.
And he exits.
Everyone was talking about it down at the harbor. Helen of Sparta, my married cousin Helen, had run off with Paris of Troy.
Paris was the younger son of King Priam, and he was known to be very good looking. Apparently it was love at first sight.
Okay, let's hold 1 sec. Sorry. Can you?
I'll just hug down here and you can do whatever you need to do. I know you're
Yeah.
stuck.
I was gonna say you guys might need to leave her the close inside track of that circle. Is that possible?
Yeah, grab the box and it's
Yeah, grab the
then
box
sit
and get
back.
off, so that Helen can really skirt the edge.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we'll move in and then back out again before she goes there.
Can this be taken off with the boat?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Gina. We'll.
And then as Helen, she just shines the light on herself.
Okay. Let's just. We're gonna. Sorry, Carrie. Do you mind if we into the middle somewhere?
Tell me where to go from.
It doesn't make sense. Just start at the beginning, but we'll know that you guys are bustling.
Okay.
Everyone was talking.
Everyone was talking about it down at the harbor. Helen of Sparta, my married cousin Helen, had run away with Paris of Troy.
Paris was the younger son of King Priam, and he was well known to be very good looking. For 9 days of feasting laid on by Menelaus, Paris and Helen had made moon eyes at each other behind the back of Menelaus, who hadn't noticed a thing.
This didn't surprise me, as the man was thick as a brick and had the manners of a stump. No doubt he hadn't stroked Helen's vanity enough, so she was ripe for someone who would. Right? She was ripe for someone who would.
Then.
Then, when
On a trip?
they loaded Paris' ship with as much gold and silver as they could carry and eloped together.
And then we're right back where we were,
Then you're
right?
right back where you were.
Okay, good, yeah.
Odysseus enters,
and
followed by
eloped
Euryclea.
together. I'll come right back to where I was, so that you guys can go back to where you were.
And you're gonna grab that trunk and pull down the trunk of the tree bed.
Okay.
And you're just gonna pull it out of the sky, and Euryclea is gonna say, "Let me do that."
Let me do that.
Leave us.
And now we're
Odysseus, what's happened?
All right, and then I'm packing it, yes?
I'll go after.
Yes.
Okay.
What are you doing? Where are you going?
I have to go to Troy.
Troy? Why?
I've sworn an oath.
Yeah,
What
you guys are
oath?
pretty screwed back there. You guys keep going. Let's
An oath
figure out-
concerning the husband of Helen. Yeah.
For when we're operating her to as men, like to defend the rights of Menelaus. You know, there could be, yeah, like
But surely you don't have to go.
I've sworn an oath.
Once the bedroom's
In fact, the oath was my idea in the first place.
some kind of notion.
What about me?
An oracle decreed that Troy cannot be saved without my help.
But what about your son?
You must be brave.
Yeah, we're gonna turn our backs to the bedroom.
So,
What can I tell you about the next
I
time?
have to kiss you.
Oh, yes, okay. And I'll see you, I'll follow you off. It'll be the Sally Field 3-part goodbye. You know? Bye, hon.
Oh God. what's
Everyone
going
has
on?
a scar.
Put on a brave face.
Yeah, I feel like I got laid off.
Yeah, yes, you have all your stuff in a box.
They're in their bedroom, right? Could we make a background for their bedroom behind us with the scarves?
So I'll step down.
And we're like, never mind.
Like, we're all superheroes.
Yes. You're all suddenly fine.
I think she's smart.
I think it's fine if you're getting, it might be interesting if you're getting dressed like Victoria is. Like,
For our maids to turn back into maids.
yeah, I mean, wherever that place is. But I want to give stage to the love moment, but it's turning up stage. All right, you two, can we have you back?
Oh, it is. He knows a hell of a lot more than he's telling her.
Yeah.
And he's desperately trying to not get sucked into Troy.
Yeah.
But when this ship comes, it's like too much. He can't resist the temptation of glory. From where? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I missed most of that. So,
I have to go to Troy.
yeah, thank you.
I have to go to Troy.
Troy? Why?
I've sworn an oath.
What oath?
An oath concerning the husband of Helen. Every man who swore it will now be called upon to defend the rights of Menelaus and sail off to Troy and wage war to get Helen back.
Surely you don't have to go.
I swore an oath. In fact, the oath was my idea in the first place.
What about me?
An oracle decreed that Troy cannot be saved without my help.
But what about your son?
You must be brave. You'll have to be clever too. So fucking dramatic. Hold on, let me do that again. that was a fucking, that was like a fucking soap opera. All right.
Armando Santos.
Okay. But I want to add that. You must be brave. You have to be clever too.
What can I tell you about the next 10 years?
There's a whole speech there, though. Helen, wicked cousin Helen.
Oh, right. Where is she?
She's right there.
Opposite me, which is fabulous. Thank you. I forgot about
So
that.
if you want to, Gina, on this, so Odysseus exits. It would be nice, actually, if, can everyone take a step to your right and leave a spot for Odysseus where Emma currently is? And Gina, you clearly cannot do that because you will go off the edge of the stage. So you'll just turn in and strike some kind of Hellenic pose. You can take a step down, too. Gina, you can take a step in. Yep, good.
Helen. Wicked cousin Helen. Helen, the lovely. Helen, the irresistible.
Helen, the septic bitch root of all my misfortunes. Helen should have been kept in a locked trunk in a dark cellar because she was poison on legs. Then everything would have been fine. What can I tell you about the next 10 years?
Okay, so now we have time passing. It's from this that we're going to have Lorraine create something with God and Prophet. So hopefully this will be something that you can kind of roll out of. I don't know. Bring it back to you can.
I feel like just
It actually would be nice, Carrie,
Yes.
if the phase of the moon moves as you walk past it.
I'm talking about Helen. Sorry, I'm not here yet.
No, but can we keep that cross then until you walk past the moon
Okay, yeah.
change?
Yep.
Because I think it's this distance on
Okay.
Helen
on
is
Helen.
nice.
That's fine. All right.
But it would be nice if I move on and the sun through the chariot of whatever the fuck that line is. And then they will do something.
The sun rose, traveled across the sky, and set. Only sometimes did I think of it as the flaming chariot of Helios. The moon did the same, changing from phase to phase. Only sometimes did I think of it as the silver boat of Artemis.
Is it possible to do the sun and the moon?
Yes.
So that whatever that thing that Lorraine
Yeah.
creates will go and then back. Does that make sense?
What can I tell you about the next 10 years?
Have a potential moment of humor that might not be appropriate.
Is it a moon joke?
No, it's not like inappropriate as in not appropriate, but like might not be appropriate for the moment. But like when you talk about like Queen Anticlea and King Laertes, like if we're facing and doing stuff and you're like, my mother, Queen Anticlea, wrinkled up and dry. And then King Laertes.
Yeah.
And-
Wandered off.
Sorry.
No, that'd be great, because you're used to being called forward
Right.
to be who you are.
Right. I actually like that. Let's try it.
That's awesome.
We haven't had funny in a while.
Yeah, and actually, if you rotate into sun, rotate back into moon, we'll be back and facing up stage, and then theoretically you could be like, Anticlea, no, and then back out, and then Laertes, which is Heidi right now, and back out. That's interesting. All right, so let's take Carrie's speech from the beginning. So everyone is faced up stage. For now, you're just going to rotate over your right shoulder as she passes you on the sun, and then rotate back as she passes you on the moon. And then get called forward and die or go crazy. Ready?
What can I tell you about the next 10 years? Odysseus sailed off to Troy. I stayed in Ithaca. The sun rose, traveled across the sky, and set. Only sometimes did I think of it as the flaming chariot of Helios. The moon did the same, changing from phase to phase. Only sometimes did I think of it as the silver boat of Artemis. Spring, summer, winter, fall followed one another in their appointed rounds, and quite often the wind blew. My mother-in-law, Queen Anticlea, wrinkled up like drying mud and then died, sickened with an excess of waiting and convinced that her son would never return. My father-in-law, King Laertes, retreated to the countryside where he was seen shambling here and there in grubby clothes and muttering about pear trees. I suspected that he was going soft in the head. Blinded.
But I tried to keep.
But I tried to keep up the appearance of hope, if not for myself, then for Telemachus, who was getting older, who was growing year by year, what is that?
Who grew from year to year,
Who grew
indulged
from year
by all.
to year, indulged by all. This is the song.
This is the song. So we're going to very simply take the three young maids, which will be Teddy, Victoria, Emma. Ooh, you're in perfect places. And you're going to come, I think actually, Emma, if you just come to 9 and Teddy to 3 and Victoria stay at noon, the song can happen right here.
Which is begging to be the Andrews sisters.
You want
Isn't
them
it?
to be the Andrews sisters?
Yes, because it's not when she sings it, but I think they're begging to be, because it's got to be something.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny. I wrote that today, but I don't have to do it. So, yeah, I feel like it needs, like it starts out silly and then it just becomes something else, which is also silly, but I don't know. I'm sorry. So,
It's yours.
What is Telemachus? Who is Telemachus?
Telemachus is now is Cherie from now on.
Okay, so I should get her and make her Telemachus, even though she's just been refused as Laertes.
I don't know if it'd be fun or if she's capable, but like to transition into a child, she's got these blocks and then she could jump. She'd be like, "Dah," and then jump to another block and then jump to meet his mom and
Yeah.
there's
We could definitely do that. The Laertes thing is nearby, but that's
I was just thinking of a big physical difference.
Yeah.
that's just gonna have to be acting moment for her. Laertes, and then Laertes wanders off and becomes Telemachus really quickly.
And where was I? I was over here, right?
All right, so girls, go back into your upstage facing line. So yeah, Carrie, if not for myself, at least for Telemachus, and then that'll be your entrance there, Heidi.
I tried to keep up the appearance of hope, if not for myself, then and for Telemachus, who grew year after year indulged by all. Daddy went to Troy. He didn't take his darling boy, but soon he will be back again with lots of slaves and gold and toys. Daddy went to Troy.
Enter maids. And sing whatever tune that was that Carrie to sing.
Yeah. Are we gonna figure out a real tune?
Yeah,
for
we'll
this
figure
at
out
some
a
point?
tune. He walked away. It's fine. We'll figure out a tune.
We'll be back again with lots of slaves and golden toys. Daddy went to Troy.
And Eurycleia sweeps in.
There you are, Telemachus, my pet. It's time for your dinner.
Yeah.
And then you can have a lovely bath and a comforting nighttime drink.
Can we do a little push of this?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Let's push and pull. Can the maids, can all maids go back maybe to the silver and gold
Yeah.
subservient gesture?
Are we still on the floor?
Yeah. When
So is
that
it like
going
she
to
comes
happen?
in and disrupts the fun?
She-
So that we immediately go back
Well,
to...
she's becoming Aunt Lydia for us a little bit, but that's okay. So maybe it is when Eurycleia comes in and says, "Oh, Telemachus, there's where you are." We all just like.
Poop.
It's actually very interesting because class-wise, you're not treating Penelope like that.
and
but-
are they teasing? They're not teasing. The suitors tease. The
Yeah.
maids don't
The
tease,
maids are- I
right?
don't think
Are
the
we-
The maids are actually singing the
Are
same
we his
song.
friends?
Yes.
And I think they're his
Could
friends.
could the three of us like dance around him, maybe grabbing hands or doing a fun? It's a fun thing, right?
Sure,
It's a fun
be fun.
thing. I think it
It's not
becomes
a
not
funny
fun
thing.
later when it's the
Friends
suitors.
now, just
Yeah,
wait. till he
just
gets
wait for a
older.
couple of years until you start raping us.
It's all downhill from there.
There you are, Telemachus,
That's
my
nice.
pet. It's time for your dinner, and then you can have a lovely bath and a comforting nighttime drink. Say good night to your mother, my little Woogle-Poo.
You're spoiling him.
It's good for him. He'll be a king one day.
As the twig is bent, so grows the tree.
We don't want to bend a little twiggy, do we? Oh, nosy, no. We want him to go straight and tall and get the juiciest goodness out of his nice big chunk of meat. Without our cross-patch mummy making him all sad.
So this moment is very strange, but we're actually going to do something revolutionary, which is that you're all going to leave. And we'll just leave Penelope alone. What I'd like to do, we had news of how the war in Troy was going. I'd like to repeat the entrance of the maids from the beginning with the X's. Is that possible? We'll see if you have enough time.
The same.
No, you'll have to come from back there, but it's fine. So if we say that you enter from up left, and then you're going to do a counterclock as opposed to before you came in and went clockwise?
Yeah. Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So when,
Go away.
those probably do. When you guys all get up to follow Telemachus and Eurycleia off, can the last two grab those two? And Katie, if you could grab that one.
Can we not, then I'm afraid of turning and stepping right onto,
Victoria.
in that moment, if we're gonna clear straight back.
Okay.
Can she just not be sitting right there? Or at
She
least
can-
not be here or something?
Yes.
Feels a little scary.
Well, what is your line?
We're up there, I mean down here, so. Without our cross-patch mummy making him all sad.
Making them all sad. I think Victoria can just be out of your way by the time you come.
Okay.
That way. And she moves and you guys cross through. And Rachel, just take that upstage and off left. Down the steps.
How does this start? My days were quite busy.
Off left.
I have work to do. Thank you very much. During the days, I have work to do. My early days in Sparta, I can nowhere.
I know, I just keep making you sit on the floor.
It's fun. It's just assorted.
You can give this voice.
Sorry, I didn't know what you were doing. My policy was to grow the estates of Odysseus, so he'd have more when he got back than he did when he'd left. More sheep, what is it, more
sheep,
more
more
cows,
cows.
more pigs, more fields of grain, more slaves. I often dreamed about Odysseus returning and how I, with womanly modesty, would reveal how well I'd done at what was usually considered a man's business. How his face would shine with pleasure. "You're worth 1,000 Helens," he would say to me. Wouldn't he? And then he would clasp me tenderly in his arms. We had news of how the war at Troy was going.
Okay, you can hold.
Sometimes
So that's your entrance back. So is that impossible?
We were just deliberating.
Okay. Are you close? Because she'll give you the cue. Okay.
Are we facing? You guys are facing back into out or facing forward? You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. And then. Okay.
then he would clasp me tenderly in his arms. We had news of how the war at Troy was going.
Go.
Sometimes well, sometimes badly. Minstrels would sing songs about the notable heroes, but I waited only for news of Odysseus. How I relished those moments. There he is, giving an inspiring speech. Oh, there he is, uniting quarreling factions. There he is, concocting an astonishing falsehood. There he is, disguising himself as a runaway slave and sneaking off to Troy and speaking with Helen, who, as the song proclaimed, bathed and anointed him with her own hands. I wasn't so fond of that part. And then, finally, after 10 long years, the news flashed from beacon to beacon. Troy had fallen!
And drop for that?
I wanted to do some kind of light moment here, which I don't know. It might be magic again. Is there how tight is your hand space?
It doesn't have to be that tight.
Like, could it hold a votive candle and a?
Yes.
So it would be cool if from beacon to beacon could just be dropping them and turning out, or even beacon to beacon.
Finally, after 10 long years, news flashed from beacon to beacon.
I think it would be nice if it turned into the center somehow. You could drop the, so it might just be turning over your left shoulder and holding candles in front of you.
But in a contagion, or?
I think it's probably going to
From
be in a
beacon to beacon.
contagion.
So, I don't know what the cues are. We need 8 of them, right?
And yeah,
And
Cherise.
finally,
Right.
after 10 long years, the news flashed from beacon to beacon. We need one more. And then, finally,
It doesn't have to be one each.
okay. So who's starting?
Victoria.
And where's Cherie?
Right here.
Okay, so after 10 long years, so after 10, Jamie's long, Gina's years, the news is Katie flashed is Rachel. The first beacon is Cherie. The second beacon is Teddy. Right?
Sure. Let's try that. See what happens.
So are we
Where's this in the script?
It's on 37, bottom of the page.
So
When are we
for
dropping
that,
in the two
are we
beacons?
turning on the light? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, the light's gotta be turned on at some.
So like, what if we're like, turn on, turn on, turn on, turn on, turn on. Troy has fallen, and then we drop in turn. Because fallen is just such a key word.
You just wouldn't get like Gina or Katie. Like
We
no audience.
each just
Well, no, she's
turn
saying
up.
turn the light on your
Turn,
word.
turn, turn. And
I know,
because
but
they're
we're-
stretching enough that we can probably lift it up a little bit.
I'm just saying that would any audience member see Gina's light? Is what I'm saying.
It's I've lifted it up a little bit.
Oh, okay, right here.
So,
They might not, but they will.
Yeah.
I think we can try it.
I mean, we can try both. I don't want to interrupt.
I don't have the little candles right now anyway. So,
I have 12 in my car.
after 10 long years, yeah, after 10,
So are we dropping these out before that?
we're gonna try to have you keep them and see if you can hold up.
Yeah.
So, you're gonna wanna grab your partners or do whatever it is that you guys do.
Oh, yeah.
Grab your partners. All right, and keep in mind that there's a Cherie betwixt you that's imaginary. All right,
Which means we'll actually be a little closer.
So we're all holding them up, but we just turn it
on your
or
word. On your word, it's gonna go up.
Oh, okay.
So in this faced up stage moment, you might be able to illuminate it and then lift it on your word.
Okay. Even
Okay.
turn it on.
All right, are we ready?
What's right before this?
The Helen bit. There he was disguising himself as a
There he
runaway slave.
was, disguising himself as a runaway slave, and sneaking into Troy, and speaking with Helen, who, as the song proclaimed, bathed and anointed him with her own hands. I wasn't so fond of that part. And then, finally, after 10 long years, the news flashed from beacon to beacon. Troy had fallen. Athena be praised. And then this is the dumb show.
Yes.
It becomes Pippin all of a moment, and we play
Oh, and we're all
Glory,
in
and
time
it's
for that.
right. That's
Nope, not that. So your clay is going to walk into it. A transformation. So here's what I had written. A transformation lights, the scarves transform into the streets of Troy running with blood. A wooden horse toy left by Telemachus is used.
We have up in the kitchen on the shelf a blue rocking horse.
Yes, there we go. A wooden horse toy. So I don't know how the hell this come. I don't know where it comes from.
And what?
It's the falcon.
And we're still all on time,
Yeah.
too.
We're gonna hang ourselves with our legs.
We need the falcons.
Great.
Oh, that was interesting, Rachel. That very quickly became not a problem.
Wow.
Yeah, 'cause, you know, that's me. Done. She's like, fuck this.
Getting this shit done. That's not my line.
Yes, it is. They know you say your fruit that.
Athena be there.
I'm gonna take Athena be praised all the way off
this
of here.
Rachel thing with our things?
Should we do this Rachel thing with our things?
Yeah. You know just what we pretend like that was weird. Like a diaper on my butt.
It feels a lot like
You just have to make sure that your scarf is out of it before you tie it.
Yes.
I actually do like doing the Rachel thing with your things because we're coming to the Wily Sea Captain, which this seems.
gosh, we're pirates.
Yeah, it seems much more piratey.
Okay, what did we just wrapped them around and went back across.
She did a cross diaper.
Across
It
the
is a
back.
very cross diaper fold.
It feels like it is. Right back. You cross them in
If
the
you
back.
sit, you're gonna feel that.
Did you just do both? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Should I put it over or under my bed?
Over, we'll hold it there.
Yeah. It'll listen to my It's like a baby shower pose.
I know. So then we do the lights.
Lights. Yeah, and then you're gonna have to pass off your light for sure to whoever's right next to you.
So we
Um,
have this thing. So we're not sailors yet, but we're
the question is, where could the toy come from?
We did just go backstage, but we don't have any hands.
We don't have anything to hold.
No blocks left on stage. Can't hide it under the circle.
Well, there was that block that we flipped. Can someone toss it in there, like on
You
their
to hide it, you
way
can always just put
around?
stuff in like the instruments. I've got all this.
Uh-huh.
Very far away.
You're very far away.
Well, am I gonna be here for the show?
No, you're probably gonna be up there.
Alright.
Oh, can't really sit.
Become sweaturific.
Your butt.
Just like certain parts of your body that aren't normally connected.
You have tendons where you didn't before.
I mean, we do, the sides of the stage are here.
I think what we'll do is, I think Telemachus can bring it in. So if he doesn't get it but my Odysseus fooled the Trojans with a wooden horse, and it can be that we don't need it until then, which gives you all plenty of time to find this thing somewhere. Either it could very well. Cherie's right there, right?
Yep.
So Cherie can just grab it from
Or, yeah.
A corner.
a corner.
Is there a way that it can be presented during Daddy Went to Troy?
Yeah, but the problem is
And then it's just there.
Then it goes away.
it goes away, and we have this whole thing. Maybe.
She's
Daddy
talking
went to
about
Troy.
Troy,
Maybe
though.
she'll come in with the boat and the horse when she comes jumping from block to block.
Oh, yeah.
Two toys there. will
She's
be
got
cute.
toys.
Yep.
And then how did you exit as Telemachus? Oh, Eurycleia takes them off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then the toys are off.
Yeah, but where do the toys? He's got to leave them somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, when
Can we put them in the sacks?
Or can they just stay at center? We haven't touched.
Yeah. I think she's talking about Troy. Like, I don't.
Is that a problem for you, Carrie?
Little horse.
Oh, in here?
Little boat and a little horse just stay there? It's kind of cute.
Yeah.
You can grab a bowl if you want to be the horse. I know.
I bought that at a thrift shop in Saratoga.
Yeah, I remember
And
now.
I said, this will be useful one day. And now is finally the day.
Okay, are we ready? Let's see what happens.
Okay.
He's gonna bring on a little, and actually I like that because then the horse is introduced before it's the Trojan horse. And that's better. Athena be thanked.
Athena be thanked, not praised, thanked, right?
Yeah.
Ah, Athena be thanked.
They said it was Odysseus. He did it, just as the oracle said he would. The walls of Troy were high and thick. No warrior could take them,
Could take them by force.
take them by force. But my Odysseus fooled those Trojans.
With a wooden horse.
It was hollow.
Okay, let's see what happens
Yeah,
here.
also, have we created the bloody streets of Troy yet?
You have not,
Okay.
but it's okay because the blood hasn't actually. It's the very bottom of the page.
In the writing, it says to be really over top. Is that what we're doing? Are we doing, like...
Big telling.
Yeah, well, it just says, like, the Trojan will row her wave. She says wailing. Like, is it a dumb show, or is it, like... are we the maids talking about this?
I think you're the maids talking about
There
this.
has to be a reason for me to say, stop it!
Right.
Yeah.
To be
we're
grossed
getting
out.
A little dark.
Or if you haven't experienced it, sounds exciting.
Right.
Once you've experienced it,
Yeah, and I wanted to. All right, here's what I had written. The wooden horse toy left by Telemachus. Yes. And the Trojans. So mostly it's just a how do we make this visible to the audience issue for me right now. Because I think that, and maybe it's got to be Euroclay, but she wouldn't grab toys when she came in.
Yeah, but I'd clean them up.
You're gonna grab them?
She's probably has
They say it was Odysseus. You can't blah 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 blah. And then hand them off, if we can, to those who speak them.
Okay.
Then I have the loose scarves become blood on the street, and my only thought was that the streets running with blood could be the opposite of the wine red sea, which was a facing out in doing this as opposed to a facing in and doing, or are you guys facing out? So I guess it'd be a facing in and doing this as opposed to a facing out.
We're really grossing her out.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Is we're having fun with.
I came down, I don't have to.
Yeah, if you stay up there and they surround you.
Yeah.
I think you guys are gonna have to stay off the circle, other than Rachel, to not be too tall.
Are they gonna come to me to take these?
Yeah, they'll come to you to take them. And then I had, and I don't know how we do this, so maybe it's wrong. The Trojan women were raped. I put here that we had a repetition of the rape thing, but I don't know where or how it works. Maybe it's just this.
Yeah,
If it's just the gesture of the grab and the pelvic thrust, that might be enough for Penelope to be like, enough, enough.
Yeah.
if somebody hadn't shit.
Are we enjoying this or are we horrified?
I think that you are not horrified. I don't know if enjoying
I
is the
feel
right
like
word.
we're like joking with her to freak her out. Yeah.
And they have
Because
no
they're
experience
it's
of
a
this.
victory.
Yeah.
It's exciting
Celebration.
news.
Yeah.
They don't know how horrible what they're
Right.
talking about actually is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing we have is humming. Jake, what should they hum, tune-wise?
Oh, I'd kind of like if we go back to what we did at the beginning and it's kind of like
It's just yeah.
The ahs.
And I think
Oh,
we'll
that-
also
oh,
have
that one.
I think we'll also just have like a cello drone and like some like low stuff like that.
Yeah. That, and then the stop it will also be the ceasing of sound.
Because it's all storytelling too, like, you know, and when the darkness fell, it's very.
So much pantomime giggling is what I
Is it just the three of us that have lines?
I think it is just the three of you that have lines.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. Ready? So you're going to be surrounding Rachel and Carrie. Rachel's not upset about this at all. Penelope will get increasingly upset about it. Athena be thanked. It's fine.
Troy had fallen. They say it was Athena be praised. Athena be praised.
They said it was Odysseus. He did it, just as the oracle said he would. The walls of Troy were high and thick. No warrior could take them by force. But my Odysseus fooled those Trojans.
With a wooden horse.
It was hollow.
Just adding it to the horse.
I think they've got to come get him.
You think they have to come get them?
Because, yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying
It's
to
just-
speed that up.
It's like, why are we?
I think,
maybe
yeah.
we already heard of the noise and we're coming in to tell her about
Right,
it.
and why, like,
Yeah,
it feels weird
they're
that she's
coming
all
in
over there, and we're the only two that have lines, and they're just between us.
Well, we're actually back here. We're just all we'll toss to
Yeah.
We're not really up there at all.
Athena be praised. Yeah.
Maybe it is then. Odysseus. But you guys are having to butt strap too here, right?
Yeah, we don't. there's this whole, she has a whole long monologue after, so if some of us don't.
Do you want to hop in with the wooden horse? Grab it so that Rachel doesn't have to grab this stuff?
Yep.
And then I think you'll just come and grab the boat.
Sure, it was
because
Paula.
we
Sure,
have-
just have another toy.
Yeah.
Because then we can later, I say like shipped away like slaves,
Yeah.
we can play. So I'm not gonna pick them up. I'm just
You're not going
walk
to pick
right
them
by
up, they're
Okay.
going to grab them.
Are we coming into the circle, or are we just taking the space around the circle?
Well, they have to come into the circle as well.
But do we exit out of there?
So can we just play and tease her like around her, you know?
Yes, why don't the three of you land downstage and then
Yeah.
these three will
And shipped away as slaves, you know, just
Right.
freaking around.
Is Shri Telemachus or
She's a maid in this moment. Pretty sure? Telemachus never speaks in this.
No.
Yeah, he's not.
So can you guys create the kind of smiley, sorry, this is different, but from 9 to 3 on this clock here, and these three are gonna take the downstage edge. And you guys might be able to stay tall and you guys go low so that we tip the world a little, even if it's a squad.
If you want to work in the rape sequence here and add a little bit more of it this time, the pull back of the rapist can be a little bit more like, ha ha ha, got you back.
Do we have to stay back here? Like, how crazy do you want this to be?
I
Because
want-
if we wanted to mimic a rape, we could literally just like
Come up and mimic it.
And do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Do it. And
On the
really
children.
make it
That's actually,
Run
Also,
if
we
they
can
run
do
through,
it like
and if there's
this.
3 of them and 3 of us,
yeah, you could.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm
the
not-
children know that we're raped, and we're all ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
Just
Oh my
I'm
God.
totally oblivious to this. I don't care. I just see
Uh,
just see us
all right,
sailing.
let's do this. Let's figure this out. So why don't we, for pure chaos sake, we'll say that Jamie's gonna rape Teddy, and Katie's gonna rape Victoria, and you can come through the center, just so we have a full like.
Full cross.
And I don't know what Shree's doing.
I-
She's just here somewhere.
So is that on that line? So before that,
Although maybe Telemachus is here.
And maybe he starts
With the horse? Do you want to use the horse?
Yeah.
Maybe he starts playing with
Well,
the
what's-
toys.
Oh, you have the horse, not Telemachus? Okay.
I mean-
If we're going to be doing the rape, it's not safe to have the toys in your hands. So maybe he takes the
He takes the
toys
toys
and
and-
starts playing
Yeah.
I
with
don't know
them.
where. It would be nice to have him near Mom and all of this craziness going on. and not-
maybe we never have the toys.
Well, it's just,
he just has
it's
the
Gina
toys.
coming through. So
Oh,
Right.
it's
if there
okay.
are toys there, I can literally just pick
Right.
While Cherie's there, you can't hop over her. Then.
I just step on her.
All right, so we're bringing Telemachus in with you then.
Okay, so these are
So you guys don't need the boys, the toys.
the boy toys.
And maybe he's just gonna hold them up as you say that. Wooden horse.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh.
Put him right in.
Heidi, can you come be Telemachus for a
So
second?
it's and again, it sounds like we already know, right? We're just telling her.
You've all heard it, and you guys are like way more experienced than you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And she's still relative. Yeah, he's sitting there just playing with his toys.
And when darkness
Are you gonna bring him in, Rachel?
I'm gonna bring him in, but that's fine. He's
No, she knows that this sucks, and they don't realize this is just fun and games. I
Right.
think they don't realize, and
that's
that's
why
why
you're like,
she's like, stop
Yeah,
it.
they're having a lot of
This
fun.
is right. They don't realize that this is.
Not funny.
They think it's all a good thing because that means that they won and he's coming.
Yeah.
All this yeah.
Right.
And maybe deep down we've been maybe raped. And
Right, it's a little bit more
like, well, now
normalized.
other people,
It's
yeah.
a little bit, yeah.
It's normalized, exactly.
Okay, well, let's see what happens in this crazy,
Okay.
like,
And now
cluster.
these are kind of fun too to play with, just as like fun little girl. Heidi.
We won, it's not us.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring you in. She's on this side of me, so perfect. All right, here we go. Where are we going from?
We're going from Athena be thanked.
Okay, so we're still.
Athena, be thanked.
They say it was Odysseus. He did it.
just as the oracle said he would. The walls of Troy were high and thick. No warrior could take them by force. But my Odysseus fooled those Trojans.
With a wooden horse? They said it was hollow.
He said it was an offering to the gods, but it was stuffed full of Greek soldiers.
With swords and spears.
And the Trojans wheeled the horse inside the city and walls.
And when darkness fell,
The streets ran red.
Trojan women were raped!
Alright, we're gonna figure out how to do this.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm
That became really alarming.
Yeah, that was very then jumping out of the
And
horse.
that's my, yeah, do you want me to fall all the way down?
I'll play down with you.
Okay, so I'm thinking, I was also, okay, making sure. Okay, so the Trojan woman was raped.
The tender young girls.
Yeah.
You can get all the way down.
And then what I'll do is
Tender
I'll
young
go,
girl.
to flip you
To
over.
flip me over. And then, so the next line after that is they were shackled together to be shipped away by slaves, as slaves.
So we can tie
So
them.
they could even,
Each other up.
Yeah, and then I think it can be,
Yeah.
so if it's, they were shackled together to be shipped away as slaves, and then the innocent boy children were thrown out from a cliff.
yeah, if they shackle us with that, then we can,
Yeah.
Do we have
Okay.
to keep these? Can they be thrown off?
Well, I wouldn't throw them off.
yeah.
Then we gotta go get them.
Okay.
That was
Yeah, we can throw
horrifying.
them
All
out.
right.
It really was.
So what's going to happen once you get to your maid?
So
So,
Have our
it's
plan.
gonna mimic the same.
Over and
So that's on the Trojan women were raped.
The children were raped and
The
down.
tender young girls.
down.
Oh,
Skip.
well, because then already it's that they were shackled together right then.
so it has to be the tender young girls is the flip.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So maybe it's just like, because this is so much shorter and it's not stretching, if we do
Can I
this
just
all,
do that?
it's
That?
Yeah.
it's all at once.
Down,
And then
down.
we
Flip.
Yeah.
Not that way.
So is the flip on tender young girls?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we're on our backs, and next is they were shackled together.
Oh, well then can we
So you
try?
could even grab our arms.
Yeah.
They were shackled, yeah.
Or, and if you wanted help sitting up, you could just grab the,
Yeah, oh no,
You-
even if you just,
like, yeah,
They've lost
if
their
you grab
scarf,
it,
and now these are the boys.
Yeah.
and then I'll help you sit up, and
they
then,
were shackled together to be shipped away as slaves, so that's the whole line. Yeah.
Can we get them up with their hands tied?
Yeah, you can
Get me up.
oh, so easy.
I grabbed her hands too, like under it a little bit.
Yeah.
But you might be able to just use the shackles as the boy children.
Yeah.
It's fine with me. They just become.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to have boy children throwing them up and have a little bit of fun running back up stage, that's fine with me too.
Well, yeah.
Can she get so like, can the boy children be thrown at her?
Oh,
Because then
Yeah.
they don't risk going off the edge.
She
and she's
stop,
like,
stop,
whoa, whoa,
stop,
whoa, whoa,
stop.
'cause then
Yeah.
they're like coming at her.
Sure.
a bunch of dead boys coming out.
Their mangled
Yeah.
bodies.
Yeah, the innocent boy children were thrown from a cliff, their mangled bodies.
Stop it!
Yeah, like that.
All right, so you're throwing them into the circle.
Okay.
And Telemachus, I think, is probably just having so much fun with this.
This is raining blood. Very exciting.
Did you want 2 rounds of
I
throwing
never met
things at her?
Astonais.
Let's do 2 rounds of throwing.
Okay.
The innocent
do
boy
it
children were
for-
thrown from a
So
cliff.
throw the shackles and then throw the
Yeah.
shackles.
So the mangled, so it's the innocent boys and then it's their mangled bodies, I think. So it's,
Flip.
we could do the maids throwing first and the suitors, men, throwing second. Does that work?
I just put my scarf around Teddy, so I don't have a scarf. Teddy has 2 scarves and I have no.
All right, then fine.
I
Teddy's
just-
gonna
I don't know
throw
what
2.
anybody else did.
I did the same thing.
Okay.
So maybe they can throw first.
We can just-
and maybe throw
Or
second.
I wonder how easy it would be for us to rip the shackles back off.
Oh, so easy.
And
Well,
then go-
also,
Yeah.
because I was still, because I was like, if I'm shackled and you leave the shackle and take mine, see, and then
Or take the shackle again. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
We'll have the shackle at our hands.
Just you all want to end up with one. That's all.
So just don't drop yours. And I'm taking my shackle back.
Okay. Got it.
All right, this is horrifying. Can we go back to that Athena be thanked again? See if we could do this all.
Troy had fallen. Athena be thanked. They say it was Odysseus. He did it just as the oracle said he would. The walls of Troy were high and thick. No warrior could take them by force. But my Odysseus fooled those Trojans.
With a wooden horse?
They said it was hollow. He said it was an offering to the gods, but it was stuffed full of Greek soldiers.
Swords and spears. And the Trojans wheeled the horse in the city walls.
And when darkness fell, the streets ran red with blood.
Then the Trojan